Let's learn about one of the trickiest checkmates, the smothered mate. Start by moving your knight to the square f7. Surrounded by his own pieces, my king is unable to escape the check from your knight. This is called a smothered checkmate, because the king is suffocated by his own pieces. Let's go back and look at another option. In this position, there was another move that was checkmate. Move your knight to the square g6, making use of the pinned pawn in front of my king. Your rook on h1 pins the pawn in front of my king, while your knight delivers mate. This too is a smothered checkmate. Let's look at another example next. In this example, my knight on the square f8 is defending against the mate in the previous example. But you can force this knight to move with a daring queen sacrifice. Take my pawn with your queen. My only option is to capture your queen with my knight. With my knight deflected from the defense of the square g6, you can now deliver a smothered mate by moving your knight there. We'll see a few more queen sacrifices as a prelude to smothered mate in this lesson. In the next example, Her Majesty plays an important role too. In this position, my knight attacks your queen, but by moving your knight to the square h6 you can play a double check, when my king must move. Even though both of your pieces are hanging, I'm unable to capture either one because my king would still be in check by the other. So, I must move my king. Do you see the best move here? Nice working spotting this checkmate. Let's take another look at what is possible if I had moved my king into the corner instead. Here we are back in the position where you have a strong double check available by moving your knight to the square h6. Go ahead and move it there again. We know that if I move my king to the square f8, you will have a checkmate in one move. So, I will move my king to the corner instead. Your queen is hanging, and so is your knight. If it weren't for this next trick, you'd likely lose one of them. Move your queen to the square g8. My king cannot capture your queen because she is defended by your hanging knight. However, my rook is able, in fact forced, to capture. Take a moment and see if you can spot the best move in this position. What an elegant checkmate. Remember this idea. We may see it again in this lesson. But first, let's get some practice solving smothered mate problems. Are you ready? In this example, your knight is ready to spring into action and reveal your queen, pinning the pawn in front of my king. Do you see the smothered mate here? Nice find. Your knight on the square d6 is immune from capture, because my pawn is pinned to my king by your queen. Let's do a practice problem next. We'll start with an easy one. In this practice problem, there is a checkmate in one move. Can you find it? That's it. Your knight jumped to an undefended square where it checkmated my smothered king. This next practice problem is a bit trickier. Are you ready? Can you spot the checkmate in one move in this position? Your turn. Your rook on the square a1 is pinning the pawn in front of my king, preventing it from capturing your knight. So that's checkmate. Let's look at a challenging example next. My king seems rather safe here, doesn't he? Your move. That's a very tempting check to play, but my bishop is defending that square. Do you see a way to deflect my bishop away from this essential task? My king seems rather safe here, doesn't he? Your move. Excellent move. My bishop must capture, deflecting it away from the defense of the f7 square. What do you think is the best move here? Nice work. You sacrificed your queen to deflect my bishop away from the defense of the square f7, allowing your knight to deliver a smothered checkmate. Let's look at an amusing one next. In this challenge, there is a strong check that leads to a checkmate pattern we have already seen. What do you think is the best move here for you? My king is in check, and I have only one option. My king is vulnerable to a discovered attack. How can you best take advantage of this? Bravo! This is a hard move to find. My king has fled the double check and escaped to the corner. Your move. My king cannot take your queen because she is defended by the knight. So, I'm obliged to capture her with my rook. My king is gasping for air in this position. Do you see the final move that completes the combination? Nicely done. This checkmate pattern is one of my favorites. Keep this idea in mind. We may see it once more later on in this lesson. I have a fun challenge for you next. In this position, my queen and knight are coordinating in a ferocious attack on your king. However, you can force a checkmate first if you find the right move. Your turn. This check is the right idea, but my king is not yet smothered and is free to escape. Look for a different check first that will make this one more deadly. In this position, my queen and knight are coordinating in a ferocious attack on your king. However, you can force a checkmate first if you find the right move. Your turn. That is a strong check that leaves me with only bad options. Your move. Do you see the final flourish here? Very well played. Your first check forced me to smother my own king defensively. Let's look at a tricky challenge next. In this example, you have a checkmate in 2 moves. However, the first move is far from obvious. Can you spot it? Impressive queen sacrifice. My king cannot capture because she is defended by your bishop. In order to escape the check, I must capture your queen with my rook and smother my own king in the corner. Do you see the final check here? Very nice checkmate, Marco. I have one final challenge for you. This example comes from a famous game between 2 grandmasters. Do you see how the player with the white pieces won the game in grand style? Your move. This queen sacrifice would work if I took with my rook. However, I can capture your queen with my king and then your combination will not work. Look for a different check instead. This example comes from a famous game between 2 grandmasters. Do you see how the player with the white pieces won the game in grand style? Your move. I have only one move, and it puts my king into the crosshairs of your queen. How can you best exploit this discovered attack? Well played. By checking my king with each move, you have kept the initiative. What is the best option available to you now? The most forcing move on the board. I cannot capture your queen with my king, because she is defended by your knight, so I must capture her with my rook. My king feels terribly stifled in the corner. Do you see how best to exploit this? Well done. You found the combination played by the Grand Master in this game. You should be proud of yourself. The smothered checkmate is an elegant and rare mating pattern. Going forward, I'm confident that you're well equipped to spot it in your own games. Excellent work completing this lesson.